India is finally polio-free. But this has been a very long and relentless war that was won because of the efforts of several people who made this their life's mission. Our guest today has often been hailed as the conscience keeper of the polio campaign. We are delighted to have on our program Shri R.K.Saboo, who is a Rotarian himself, and it is during his tenure that polio was eradicated ultimately from India. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here with you today and to be chatting about polio and various other programs.
In fact, this has been one of the greatest achievements of Rotary International.
Undoubtedly, undoubtedly.
But when it started about 30 odd years ago, it did seem like an impossible dream, didn't it?
No. On the contrary, it was thought that we would be able to get over this much earlier. And as we walked the journey, we realized how the difficulties and hurdles and challenges had to be met.
What were the kind of challenges in India in particular?
In India, we had various challenges. In fact, in India, we started to think about it in 1988. But Rotary had thought of this program way back in 1979. It was in 1978, the world president of Rotary International, Clem Renouf, from Australia, he thought of taking up a disease for eradication immediately on the heels of the success that the world was able to achieve in eradicating smallpox. Could Rotary take up any such program? And the first grant that Rotary International made was to Philippines, and 6 million children of the whole country were immunized. And with the success achieved, Rotary started thinking, can we do it the world over? So it was in 1981 when I was on the board of directors of Rotary International. We took up the decision that by 2005, when Rotary celebrates its centennial, 100 years of its being in existence, could we immunize the children of the world? So it was a dream that was coming to us, not realizing what was required to achieve that. But then in 1985, the real step was taken when then President of Rotary International, Carlos Canseco, met who was a friend of Albert Sabin, who was the developer of the oral polio vaccine. And they together went to WHO and invited them to join.
In fact, this is very interesting that it was Rotary that approached WHO and other agencies rather than the other way around.
No, it is actually Rotary that approached WHO, and then came UNICEF and also CDC, the Center of Disease Control in United States. So they all became partners, global partners at that time. So 1985 this was born. And then it was estimated that it would require $120 million at that time to be able to immunize the children of the world. And by 1988, Rotary International, instead of $120 million, was able to mobilize and collect funds from Rotarians of $240 million. So we thought it was all hunky-dory and we were going straight on. In 1988, the World Health Assembly adopted the program that yes, all the countries will take up this challenge of eradicating polio, and also India accepted that. And then at that time Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and this program was taken up. But somehow we did not make much progress in India.
What were the reasons?
I would believe that there were issues with regard to how to do it, and there were differences of opinion, and many countries like Brazil and some of the large populated countries had taken up what they call the National Immunization Day. That means on one single day you immunize the children of the whole country. So there were, I think, at that point of time, there were perhaps issues. But
this is something that you proposed in India also. You were a strong proponent of this.
We in Rotary were very, very strong proponents of National
NID.
Immunization Days. And then for a short period, at that time, Mr. Narasimha Rao became the health minister. As a prime minister, he took the portfolio at that time, and at around that time, the idea of NID was born, and then first time it was done in Delhi. I still remember 2nd of October 1994, when we had plague in Surat and all around.
Yes, that time there was a big scare.
Absolutely, yes. And Delhi was feared to be the next target of plague. So whether we should do it or postpone it, but at that point of time...
Would it have affected the plague thing at all? If
no, but the whole idea of people going around and contacting other people,
yes,
that might lead to going to the slums and small colonies, etc. That would have created danger for those people, the health workers. So at that time, the matter came up whether we should do it or not. At that time, Health Minister of Delhi State was Dr. Harshvardhan, and this was very successfully launched. And this was at that time became known as pulse polio. And
what was the reason? Why was it called pulse polio?
Pulse polio probably was called, we were not part of the nomenclature that came in, but I believe pulse is that you are active. Pulse is beating as long as you are active. So actively you are attacking the polio disease and polio virus. So I suppose that is how it came. Rotary's program was named Polio Plus, because polio was one thing and plus came from WHO, who wanted to also include other diseases, preventable diseases.
In the same campaign? In
the same campaign, or maybe separately, but
around the same time.
Universal Immunization Program. And I remember that in 1991 October, I was president of Rotary International, and I went to the
and you were the youngest Rotary president.
No, I would not like to dwell on that part, because age does not matter whether one is
young. But it was a matter of great prestige for India when you became the president of Rotary International.
Well, I feel humbled that I was given that opportunity to serve the Rotary world. But anyway, that what I was coming back to this subject, when UNICEF celebrated the 80% universal immunization of the children worldwide. Some of the countries had not achieved that. P3, then P1 will rise. So that jigsaw situation or yo-yo situation continued. And then we got into a situation where we had the challenge also. The whole country became polio-free except 2 states, UP and Bihar.
But Bihar also because of the influx of the virus from the neighboring countries, wasn't it?
No, not necessarily. Bihar has its own indigenous transmission of polio virus, and UP too. And so these 2 states became the challenge. And
Then
just-
what was the reason that it wasn't getting cleared here?
Well, at that time, we wish we had the solution to know what was the reason. And the Rotarians, the health workers went deep into it, and the governments were very, very supportive. And to think as to why we are not able to capture this. And also at that time there was an element of some communities thinking that there was a propaganda that this vaccine probably is going to neutralize some of the male people in order to stop the population and all that. And that is where Rotary also came forward to get the support of all the ulemas, and who started then promoting that yes, you should go ahead and have your children immunized. So this was all part of the whole campaign. I remember that I once went to in Hapur area. We were having that particular day, the National Immunization Day, and I immediately got a phone call that one particular village is resisting immunization, 5 families. We reached there, and through the help of some of the village leaders, we were able to convince those 5 families. And then I saw children coming in, one child crawling, then another child crawling, 4 or 5 years, like that. And I said, what is going to happen to them? And you know, their reply was, they are dirt. ये तो मिट्टी है, इनका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. And then I had a friend with me. I said, that is our opportunity. Let us get these children treated with polio corrective surgery. And if we can come with that, we will be regarded as their friends. And they will listen to us. So within a month, we had a polio corrective surgery in Hapur itself. And thereafter, we were having a number of surgery camps in UP and Bihar conducted. So that was also part of our social mobilization. The real credit has to come the fact that in 2009, we had 741 cases.
Which was the highest in the world at that time.
Which was highest in the world. You're right. And
so do you think this was a step backwards, or?
It was a step backwards. And one wondered what is going to happen. And people had started, at that time there were only 4 countries which were endemic. India was one of them. And people started thinking that India will never be able to get over. And then next year was 40.
That's amazing.
But 40 to 0, that is the credit that has to be given to the government. How government took the lead, and that leadership, and how, you know, it is always difficult, the last mile in a race.
Absolutely.
And that's creditable.
So these last 3 years, from 2009 to 2013, everyone waited with bated breath to see if one more case would somewhere pop its head up, or would we actually be polio free, wasn't it?
That is true, because I remember in 2012 we had on 24th and 25th of February, Government of India and Health Ministry and Rotary together organized Polio Summit. And I was talking to the Health Minister, Honorable Minister Ghulam Nabi Azad, and he said, do you think we are going to have that? Because such a big event has to be planned well in advance. So we were not sure whether we are going to get any cases or not cases, how many cases might come up. And but it is, after all, the hard work and the planning trying to see that not a single child is missed. These are some of the things that had to be done. And we had to select, the government did that, and Rotary was with them, WHO, UNICEF, all these partners. I have to give credit to all of them, because such a program cannot be successful.
And you had over 2 billion foot soldiers who were going to every village and giving the vaccine.
Absolutely.
That's
and
a huge number of people.
Later on, Bill Gates Foundation also joined. So it was like everyone making this as their agenda.
And that
Rotary, of course, it had the promise to the children that we are going to make the world polio free. But we knew that we cannot do it alone. And this is where we are now.
And this is one of the greatest achievements after smallpox for Rotary International, to make a promise and to see it come through. We'll talk more about the polio campaign and other aspects of your life, but we'll take a short break now. Welcome back. We are talking to Shri R.K.Saboo, who has made immense contribution to make India polio free. Mr. Saboo, we were talking about the relentless effort that was made by so many people to ensure that India is polio free. It is finally so. What is the road ahead?
The challenges ahead are that there are 3 countries which are still endemic, and 2 countries are in our immediate neighborhood, Pakistan and Afghanistan. With that open border, it is a danger of importation of the virus. A virus like polio does not require passport or visa or travel fare or anything, and it can come through anyone traveling from Pakistan, or an Indian going to Pakistan and coming back. So one can be a carrier of the virus. So we have got the challenge to keep it up until the world becomes polio free.
So are there special measures in place to ensure that each person who comes from Pakistan or from Afghanistan is immunized, whether it is an adult or a child?
Yes, the Government of India has been able to convince the world that it is necessary, and it is also appreciated by the countries, because there was a time when we were traveling abroad, we had to give a certificate of vaccination against smallpox and even cholera.
Yes.
So if we are eradicating a disease from the face of the earth, I suppose these are the measures we have to take. And our interest also is to see that these countries become polio free. We have been working in Nigeria to take this idea of polio corrective surgery there and convince the people there to get their children immunized.
You mentioned Nigeria. You yourself, with your wife Usha ji, have been traveling extensively all over Africa, and it's been a hands-on experience for you.
Yeah, that's very nostalgic, because after I finished my official responsibilities with Rotary International, as a president of Rotary International, then as chairman of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation, Usha said, should we not get ourselves now involved in hands-on activity? And during the year I was president, I had given the theme, look beyond yourself. So the idea was born, serve beyond borders.
And there too, Usha ji had inspired you to give the theme.
That's true. That's true.
Tell us something about it.
Every president of Rotary International gives a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got nominated to be president of Rotary International, which was after I was the second president from India after 29 years. So for the contemporary India, I was like a new entry in the presidency of Rotary International. So wherever I would go, I would be asked a question by my Rotarian friends, by the community friends, and even the journalists, and also leaders. भाई अब इंडिया से प्रेसिडेंट बन रहा है तो इंडिया के लिए क्या लेकर के आओगे? So I remember that there was event felicitation dinner that was hosted by then Secretary General of Rajya Sabha, Shri Sudarshan Agarwal. And at that evening, among the speeches, there were some eminent people. They also raised that now that you have been given this opportunity, what are you going to bring for India? And in my response, I said that the culture from the Sanskriti हमारी जो है, वो तो देने की होती है, लेने की नहीं होती. And I said, perhaps it is time for me and you to think beyond ourselves to our family, beyond our family to our neighborhood, beyond our neighborhood to our community, beyond our community to our country, and even beyond our country to humanity. Is it not the time to look beyond yourself? So that was part of my speech and presentation, response to the felicitations that I was receiving. And as we were driving back, my wife Usha said, you remember what you said? And you know, as normally husbands would be told by a wife, तुमको याद है तुमने क्या कहा था? तो मैंने कहा था कोई गलती तो नहीं कही थी. And no, she said, you said this. And what about making this as the theme? Look beyond yourself. And that's how the theme was born.
And that's a beautiful theme.
Well, it served me well to look beyond myself. And I suppose it was very well accepted by the Rotary world.
And in what way did Rotary International look beyond itself as Rotary and as individuals who were part of the group during your tenure?
During that year, I introduced two very major programs: functional literacy, promotion of functional literacy, and combating hunger. But they were part of the program. And polio eradication, of course, continued to be the signature program of Rotary. So through this, all the clubs, the Rotarians worldwide, took the challenge. And the whole idea was looking beyond yourself. That means we are divinely blessed in whatever we are, but we always think of our personal agenda. Is there something that we can do looking beyond myself and my commitment to the family, to the community, and to the humanity? So I think it served well, and it was particularly accepted, coming as having a spiritual undertone or overtone, whatever you call, by the world.
You have traveled the world and you carried a bit of India with you always, and also spirituality with you. When you go to different countries, how do people see you as an ambassador of India?
When we started our medical missions abroad, particularly Africa, it was I believe 1998, and we are not taught, we don't have any medical background, but I thought that was one area where India can give. So why not we try that? So we took an orthopedic team of orthopedic surgeons and ophthalmology, eye surgeons, ophthalmology, to Uganda, and it was around the time, I think it was August, yes, August, that 10 days to go, and there was bomb blast in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, on the US Embassy, followed by a blast in Nairobi, Kenya, and the next target was Kampala. That was reported, and we were going to Kampala. And I still remember the first day we had, when we were collecting all the children and the surgeons were in their operation theaters and we were getting the children ready for this surgery, cleaning their limbs because the paramedics were not enough. So I and Usha got the soap and water and we were cleaning the limbs of the children. And Usha said, you remember what date is today? I said, no. She said, 11th August. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, how wonderful.
So I said, I couldn't have thought of a better way of celebrating my birthday.
In fact, there are these very beautiful photographs of you with the children. And there is one in particular that is very moving, where you have the child held against you, cheek to cheek. You're in your scrub.
That has been probably that recent. There have been many occasions. Somehow I realized that when we went to Africa, we wondered, you asked me as to how did I take India to those countries. And when we went there, we thought that will language be a problem? Will color be a problem? Will we be accepted? And all these issues. And suddenly, everything disappeared. A child in pain cries all over the world. A child will smile if you giggle. And that one learned.
And a child will respond to love.
And the child will respond to love. So the one you are referring to probably was in Nigeria or where it was, I don't remember. But I took the child from the lap of the father, carried the child to the operation theater, and that child would not be prepared to go on the OT table, operation theater table, and just clung to my lap. And I could always think that face of my own grandchild. And I told the doctor, the only way you can do it is give an injection so that the child can sleep. And that is how then I was able to have put the child on the operation theater.
And it must have been so poignant for you. Here's a child who is in your arms rather than the father's arms and is trusting you more and is accepting the injection from you or in your arms.
There was one case I remember. I took the child inside and the anesthesia was given. The child was, gasping just before getting into the sleep mode, and looked at me and lifted his arm.
And I
gave my finger. He held my finger. And when the child woke up after the operation, again he was looking around and somehow he recognized me. Well, these are some of the stories, the human stories, that one can feel touched. Now, this I consider is something that I found in service, whether it is through Rotary or any organization, or your personal commitment. And that's what I think that in the beginning, when I started my career, this was not my path.
Your path, in fact, was totally different. You were headed towards industry.
My ambition was to have more factories, more bigger business, expanding, etc., etc.
In fact, that is the part that I'd like to talk about, but before that, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are talking to the great humanitarian Shri R.K.Saboo. Mr. Saboo, before we went into the break, we were talking about how it's almost like destiny chose for you your life's path. But you started out by being a great businessman, and in 1960 you came to Chandigarh to set up factories.
Yeah, not a great businessman, but it was an opportunity that was opening up during that period. I started my career after doing my education. I was born and brought up in Calcutta, and I was first employed with Hindustan Motors for 4 years, but then I wanted to start something on my own.
Was there a reason why you decided to move to Chandigarh in particular?
Not particularly Chandigarh. I wanted to come to North India at that time. I had some health situation, and the doctor said that you might wish to settle down in a drier place there in Calcutta, which was humid and all that. So I met at that time Pratap Singh Khairo, who was the Chief Minister of Punjab, United Punjab at that time, and requesting for power in Faridabad. That's where I was wanting to set up the factory for needles for knitting machines, and a German collaboration. And he said, why not Chandigarh? And why not Chandigarh? So just happened to go to Chandigarh,
and it was a new life in a new city which had just been built.
Absolutely. I mean, at the age of 27 at that time, with a young wife and a 2-year-old boy, we went to Chandigarh from Calcutta. Just think of Calcutta at that time. And to Chandigarh, 75,000 population, like a village. But it grew, the city grew up upon us, and 4 or 5 years later, my wife has been very much interested in gardening and outdoor activities, etc. So I said that, look, we have a factory also in Delhi, near around Delhi. I have to commute, so why don't we, in the interest of business, why don't we shift to Delhi and commute from Delhi, come to Chandigarh? And she said, why do you do business? Why do you earn money? I said, well, the first reason is to have a good living. And she said, do you think that in Delhi you will be able to have that good living? So we stayed on in Chandigarh and never regretted.
And that, as they say, is history.
And so then the business was still on my mind.
Now, as a young entrepreneur, at what point did you get involved with Rotary and with all its activities?
Almost in the beginning, 1961, I was invited. In Rotary, you get invited. You don't apply for membership. So I was invited to join, and the purpose of my joining Rotary was that I was a newcomer to the city, and I thought through that I would be able to make acquaintances and get to know people. That was the purpose of my joining Rotary. But then I got in touch with some of the activities, and from the very beginning my wife was interested in social work, and I became part of it, taking interest in the Child Welfare Society. Chandigarh was also known for voluntary blood donation movement, so my wife became partner, a very active worker there. And gradually we got into this mode of service. And then I got catapulted to the position as president of my Rotary Club, which I was not wanting. And because I still was wanting to go through their business. Business was the main journey for me, or main road show for my life career. But then I got catapulted to that position, and then got to be district governor. And through that, somehow I got involved in Rotary's philosophy. And what Rotary gave me also was a very strong feeling and conviction on ethics. And that became part of me.
Do you think that for any businessman today or any entrepreneur from any field, this very operative word that you used, ethics, is very important?
I personally feel that ethics is perhaps the most difficult commodity, and yet the most valuable commodity for someone to answer to your Creator at the end of your life journey.
And what is amazing about your life's journey is that where on the one hand you have followed your destiny that was meant for you, that is
one door closes, another opens.
But for you, a lot of the doors were open at the same time. So for you, it wasn't a single journey. You have progressed in the world of business. You were president of the PhD chambers of CII. So that journey has also continued at the same time.
Yes, but my one journey helped the other. And in my own efforts, I tried to keep the two paths together.
So as a businessman, what you did as a Rotarian, do you think it affected your business ethics?
Not business ethics. It may have affected the size of my business. Probably I could have made more money. But whether I would have the same values, I don't know. So what helped me is that I may not have made more money, but at least I feel very happy that my life's philosophy was given this influence from the way I measured, dealt with, and walked the life path.
So you did at some point prioritize and streamline the business aspect of your life.
I don't know whether I got the choice of prioritizing, because
prioritizing the humanitarian
angle. The point
angle.
is that once the opportunities came, because after I became governor, I was chosen to handle various responsibilities in Rotary. I became director, and then the time came I got nominated as the president of Rotary International, for which in Rotary there is no canvassing or campaigning for that position. You get nominated, and it's a world body, so the members of the nominating committee are people from the world. So that was an opportunity which I thought was an opportunity for me, and I still remember that when I got the phone call from our headquarters after the nominating committee that I have been chosen, would I accept it? And it was midnight, because it was day in United States at that time. That was one very, very rare occasion when I woke my father up in the middle of the night. And he was in Calcutta. He used to live in Calcutta. So next day he came to Chandigarh, and my Rotary Club members came to congratulate him. And I cannot forget what father said. He said, "Raja has given me at least 2 years more to live for."
How wonderful.
So, I mean, I don't know whether the expansion of business would have made my father utter those words. To me, that was very valuable.
And the greatest endorsement was the joy that you saw in your father's eyes.
Yes, absolutely. And then what is giving us the joy is that we continue to go to the countries. We have started now also medical missions within the country. We took up the first medical mission in the country in Kalahandi, and we had 2 or 3 in Odisha, then Madhya Pradesh, then Rajasthan, and in March we are going to Neemach in Madhya Pradesh, border of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, and then in April again going to Nigeria, in August going to Rwanda, and carrying when we go there, and people may forget the name of R.K.Saboo, but people will not forget there was some Indian team that had come and blessed our children.
That's beautiful.
So that is the culture that we have been able to take, and the message of our country that we have been able to convey.
A moment ago you said that people might not remember R.K.Saboo, but they'll remember the Indians who came and helped the children. I think R.K.Saboo people, it's not the countries, it's the hearts that will remember you always.
Yes, that's true. And we also think that the purpose of our having this human life is to be human and humane. And regardless of which country it is, if you start thinking in terms of peace, if you start thinking in terms of happiness, peace is not natural to human being. If you see the history, competitive feeling, even today, in the management parlance, you have to be competitive. So peace is something that has got to be deliberately brought in. And these are the ways of bringing peace.
That's really wonderful, and a wonderful message for people who are watching our program today, the message of peace, and that is something we need to develop in ourselves. It's not something that is natural to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Saboo, for being on our program and sharing this wonderful journey with us.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure and privilege to be talking to you and going back in my own life journey.
Thank you so much. It has been our honor.
Thank you.